The North Sydney Bears podcast, proudly brought to you by CIP.
To the Bears podcast, I'm Greg Florimo, and today we are talking about partnerships and sponsorships. And we're here today with Gareth Holmes, CEO of North Sydney Bears. Welcome, Gareth.
Thanks, Flo. It's great to be. Great opportunity to talk about a really important part of our footy club.
Maybe we just start with the current situation. How is the footy team looking? It looks like we're okay, top of the table. How are you feeling about the way we're travelling halfway through the season?
We couldn't be in a better spot. We're halfway through the year. Our New South Wales Cup team equal first, which is great. We've got a big game coming up this weekend against another really strong side in Penrith. Off the back of what was a really successful season last season, minor premiers, grand finalists, we've kept that momentum going. We've had a change of coach and promoted JT's assistant in Pat Wisner. He's done a terrific job for us in keeping that momentum that we've built over the last couple of years into what we're currently seeing now. So, it's been a great start to the year. We've started a partnership with the Melbourne Storm this year, which has been terrific. And we've had some players up from Melbourne playing with us throughout the first half of the year. Namely, when Nelson Asofa Solomona came up and played a couple of games and really loved the experience. And that's been the feedback from a lot of the boys that have come up. And our squad's changed a lot this year too. And that was always a challenge when you have a turnover of players. To keep that momentum, but Paddy's done a great job and we're travelling really nicely.
Yeah, that's clear to see from a football perspective. On the flip side, from a business perspective, it seems game days are really, really well attended and received. They've been fantastic this year. You're happy with what we've been turning out?
Yeah, definitely. Listen, I think we all know that there's no better spot to watch footy than North Sydney Oval. They call Leichhardt the eighth wonder of the world, but I'd definitely argue that point. We've had a great start to our season in terms of our home games. We've played 6 now. We're halfway through our home game schedule. We delivered a great weekend a couple of weekends ago in conjunction with the New South Wales Rugby League. We delivered the New South Wales Cup Magic Round over 2 days at North Sydney Oval, and we made an event out of that, which was a really good thing for us to do in terms of showcasing what the Oval can deliver. Our game days have been great. The engagement of people that come through and watch the Bears play, not just Bears fans, obviously there's a lot of Bears fans, but, families, young kids. We've been able to engage a new audience. For all of us older fans that saw the Bears play, there was a couple of generations now that never actually saw the North Sydney Bears play. So it's important for us as a footy club to make sure that we are doing things to engage a new audience. Success on the field is a big part of that. But obviously creating a game day it's a special experience and something that people want to come back to is also a big part of that. We welcomed 25,000 people through the gates last year at North Sydney Oval, and that's great for a New South Wales Cup club to be able to do that, especially one that doesn't have a direct NRL feeder team.
And so that's in ship shape in that area. So that hopefully translates into sponsorship and commercial value for the football club. And that what we're talking about today in our partnership with CIP. Tell me how the partnership with CIP at the moment is impacting on the Bears from a positive perspective.
Yeah, the partnership with CIP is an enormously positive one for us. Chris has been with us for 4 years now. Obviously has strong ties through his own upbringing and his love for rugby league and love for the Bears. So that's a nice thing for us to be able to harness that and provide him with that experience and being part of what we are. The opportunity for us as a footy club in aligning with CIP is we have a recognised strong business brand that is behind us and has been behind us. The point of difference in particular with CIP is Chris is also a bolted-on Bears fan. He genuinely cares about the place. Yes, there are certain things that we need to do to deliver what he needs from a business perspective, but we also know that Chris is someone that genuinely loves what the footy club's about. And that's an important part of the synergy between being a football club and having a corporate partner, especially at the New South Wales Cup level. We fully appreciate that we're not on TV every week and we can't give you that brand exposure that you would have by being an NRL club. But what we can do is we can deliver you with a great experience. We can provide the opportunities where we can within our own networks, within our game day, within our fan base. We've got 65,000 people that follow us across all of our socials. That's a decent number of people. Over 2,000 members. We've got an EDM list of 7,000 people. We can give brand exposure at that level. But I think the big part for us in CIP is knowing that we've got a person that genuinely cares about our footy club.
I agree. And we talked about how much of a difference that makes from a perspective with the players, relationship with the players, and actually the culture of the club as well. And seeing CIP grow over the last few years, and Chris talked a little bit about that growth. How proud are you, I guess, of the relationship and where we've come to over the last 4 years, and indeed where we might get to?
Yeah, I'm enormously proud of that. For us as a footy club, as I mentioned, to have a person that is not just a sponsor, he's a passionate Bears fan. He's a fan of the footy club. He's been a fan of the old Bears, and now he's transitioned and part of what we are building. And there's no secret that we've got aspirations to be part of the NRL one day, and we want to take Chris along that journey with us. And he knows that. We've had those conversations, him and I. So we want to take him on that journey with us. It is really important for us to have that brand. It's really important for our players to know that the logo on their sleeve is not just a logo. There's more behind it. Chris attends all of our games. He's down in the sheds. He generously hosts us for post-match functions, and he has that direct connection with the players. So I look at it, a lot of people would look at it as just a brand on the sleeve. I look at it a lot more than that. Chris is part of what our footy club is all about.
And have you been able to actually come together as the two organisations and leverage each other in the same space? So, for instance, has Chris been able to grow or expand our sponsorship base through his connections, and vice versa? We've been able to assist through our connections.
Yeah, definitely. And we've got experiences on our game day where there's opportunities for Chris to bring clients, staff, guests along and engage with other people in our corporate spaces. And there's opportunities that flow off that. He's got to meet a lot of people that have been part of our Bears network that he may not have met, and been able to build some relationships in and around that. So there is opportunities there. I know that he did a trip to Vegas early in the year with one of our other corporate partners, and that came off the back of a relationship built at the Bears. And, there's those opportunities there for us to support all of our partners, including Chris, in terms of what we can do to help their business.
And ultimately, the support that CIP provides for North Sydney is invested into mostly football, right? Developing our young players, our boys and our girls. And I think that's a really strong part of our business at the moment.
100%. The support that we get from CIP and Chris directly supports our football program and our football club. We've been a strong supporter of the female game, especially at the highest level for a number of years, but more recently with pathways. So we've this year introduced the under-17s girls team into our female pathway, as well as an under-19s girls team, who the 19s are only going into their third season. That's an important part of the game as a whole. It's an important part of where we're heading with our NRL aspirations. We know that with anything that comes with us being an NRL team, we'll also be passionate about building an NRLW team in that space. So building the pathways is an important part of getting ourselves ready for that. And also the support we get from CIP enhances all parts of our footy club.
Can you highlight a memorable moment or success story from the partnership that has stood out to you, Gareth?
There's lots of memorable moments. Some of Chris's Christmas parties are quite memorable, but we won't go into a lot of detail there. I feel like it's hard to go past our season last year. We were minor premiers 3 weeks out from the end of the comp. We rode the wave of some mixed results through our final series as well. But to be there on grand final day at CommBank, one of the biggest crowds they've had at a New South Wales Cup grand final, the support of the Bears and our Bears fans that came out, amazing, was amazing to see. But to be able to be in a space at the ground with Chris and his staff and his family, to be there on grand final day. I don't think in terms of memories it gets much better than that. To be able to share that with him, to be able to, I guess for me, I would, whether it's my staff, my players, our sponsors, our fans, I want nothing more than to be able to provide an experience where they're at a grand final, and that's the ultimate goal for anyone that supports a footy club. They want to see their team be successful, and I'd love to be able to do whatever I can to give them that experience. Unfortunately, we fell a little bit short last year, but nonetheless, it was a really successful year for us. We were there on the biggest day of the year, and to be able to provide that experience, people will walk away from that game saying, I've seen the Bears play in a grand final, and it's been a long time. I've seen the Bears play in a grand final. I've seen the Bears have a really successful season, and I've been a part of that. I think that's a memorable moment, looking at my time in the last couple of years with Chris, to be able to go to a grand final and experience that day is pretty special.
Absolutely. And just closing off, I guess now, can you just give us a bit of a wrap up on how important the partnership is and the significance of that continuing that relationship into the future?
Yeah, like I said, Flo, it's to have corporate partners at all levels is important to the longevity and the success of a football club. To have a partner in Chris that's been with us for 4 years, and I know how passionate about he is about wanting to continue to be a partner and continue to follow us and be part of us on our journey to where we want to take the footy club is enormously important. We can't run a successful club without the help of our corporate partners, and it makes it all the more better when we know that they're actually invested in what the footy club is about. They genuinely care. They care for our club. They care for our brand. They care for our players. They're genuinely interested in what we're doing. And they're generally interested in where we're going. And you can't even put a value on that, but we really appreciate everything that Chris and CIP does for the Bears. And it's a great partnership, and I hope it's one that continues long into the future.
Here, totally agree. Thanks for your time, Gareth. That's it. That's a wrap up for this week's episode of the Bears Podcast.
The North Sydney Bears Podcast, proudly brought to you by CIP.